If you're tuning into my videos for the first time, I'm a master and I do this educational videos, me playing rapid games, explain move by move from a master perspective. So hopefully this is something that you would like and enjoy. It should increase your rating should you keep up and watch the videos, this one and the one after it, the one before, and so on. This is also for the record. I'm actually 2494. If I were to win the next game or two, we try to do one game for now. If I were to win one or two and I get beyond 2500, then I have a new record. I think the record for me right now is 25 fixed. 2501 would be like a new record for me. So D5, this is an opening that I've been playing for a while. So I play here. This is a Tramposki that I play. If you're not sure about this opening, I would always tell you to tune into my other videos to know the history behind that the opening. So E3, the idea is C4. He's stopping it, of course. Maybe we could play here knight E2, knight F4, bishop G2. They usually do bishop D6. There are some occasionally where you could play like H5, and somehow he plays G6. Knight E2, excuse me, knight E2 here. Bishop G2. The idea is knight f4 hitting this one. He has to play like bishop d6, or even here. So knight f4 is a good knight. So the reason why I play knight e2, people could ask, why are you playing knight e2? So I could play knight f4 at some point, right? And it's more competing towards like d5, attacking d5 as much as possible. So here, I castle. He might play here. So typically, you know what I take this? This is bishop on e6 is pretty weak, though. I mean, I don't think it's pretty weak, but it's a weak bishop because it's being blocked by its own like pieces, right? So if anything, black would be happy with knight on f4, which is an active one, trading it for his inactive one on e6. So if you were to take this way, black would be much more happy than white. So you play bishop g7. I guess I could develop here. The reason this one and not knight c3 is because I could play here knight e5, open up for like maybe c4, c3. It kind of feels like it's a London, of course, but it's not the bishop on f4. Different structure here. He plays h5. We talked about how h5 could be played. I think I could play here. It may allow knight g4, but it might be okay. So if I were to win this game, it's a new record. So I see that 7 points, not 6 points. So that's just by 1 point. 1 point, but I have to win. I will try to win though. So knight f3. The idea is you go to knight g5. I'm likely to attack on e6, but he's still gonna defend though. He plays knight e4. That's interesting move. If I play here, he takes. That's a free pawn. Is it really free pawn? d5 would be hanging. You could just play c6. Okay, so this is not gonna... I was looking at this kind of line where this is gonna be takeable, but obviously here there's c6. I'm not sure people could see here. He doesn't take, he just plays c6 and then preparing to take the next move. So he just defends on d5. So that's not going to be beneficial for me. Maybe knight d2. And somehow I'm looking at taking on, this way. So it's kind of like a wasted move, but he's just reacting to knight e4. Because maybe here white would benefit from this kind of trade, even though he could take. Maybe I could still play like c3, bishop, queen gets the other side of the board. I mean, I'm looking for ways to try to win, not look for ways to draw, right? So he plays c5. He's getting serious. Serious with his moves. If you were to take this, is open up for the bishop, so you have to play this kind of stuff. So this is actually very strong structure to defend. It looks like the London, right? Close, but it's not the same. So if he takes, we just take comfortably, maybe even with the e-pawn. It doesn't have to be the c-pawn. So he plays queen b6. He's trying to get really active. Supposedly I could still take and queen b3. So again, which way should he take though? Maybe it's here to open up for the bishop. But he also could open up for the bishop that way. But the problem here, if you take this way, is this d4 becomes a pass pawn. Right, so it's a tough call what to do. That's the reason why he's taking some time. So maybe if he were to take here, he's eliminating the fact that I could go here. He took the other way. He wasn't comfortable giving a pass pawn here. So now maybe queen b3 if c4. I may have to go back to. It almost feels like it's a London setup some ways, but it's not really. Typically in the London you do have like a bishop, right? I mean, typically people would do this if you were to take. That's a good structure for black. I just play here. If you were to take here, black has a massive pawn structure, and maybe it's still takeable though, but it just feels like there's no winning chances for like white. So here, maybe b3. It does weaken up my structure by a lot. If you go here, that weakens up. Maybe it's I take with a pawn. Maybe that's argument. I mean, he might do this, but so this knight on f4 is pretty strong. I mean, the man is trying to stop me from getting to 25. But we'll see. We'll take our chances here. So b5 is maybe maybe it's a good idea. The idea if you take is here, so he's still maintaining the center with this kind of pawn formation. But I think even after b5, I could still take and then get activated with the rooks. Maybe you want to play rook b4, rook b1, try to double stack, triple stack maybe, and have a way against open files. He might also take. I don't think taking with the queen is a wise idea, even though you're hitting a pawn. He may just have some serious play against c3. So maybe the point is here, and some kind of c4 at the right time. That would weaken up e4 though. So maybe this is a good idea, is to take that way. He's going for this anyway, but the point is, it's not. c3 is weak, but it's not a bad idea per se, because maybe I could still like play c4 in some lines. Not right now because he could take. But even though he could take bishop, there's also here. But the real issue is where's the winning chances here for, for white. So maybe I have to play here, preparing c4. He may just play b5. Yeah, that's true though. Play b5, sir. So maybe I play here. So here it met was b4, queen d2. I'm trying to play here and some kind of queen e2. Maybe it's just queen d2. There's also like maybe bishop f1 attack here, but I just need the bishop so I could keep hitting e4. Maybe queen d2, just getting out of this spin because it's annoying. There's like b4 ideas happening. So maybe here I try to get the attack, rook e1. This is not an easy position to play for white and black. So you do have the bishop pair here, but it just feels like they are locked, right? They are not doing much. He plays here, you want to double stack. We play here, we attack here. So supposedly he could do this. Then I could play here, rook c8. This is getting really interesting. Rook e6. There's a lot of things going on. What else does he have? So if he goes with this idea, maybe this b5 is falling. a6. So a6 may allow some attack on a6, or even rook takes b5 in some lines. So maybe like a6, queen e2. So I'm attacking like rook takes b5. The idea is you take queen takes e8, so the rook will be hanging. So maybe white has a weak c3 pawn, but also like, white could still attack some of the pawns, right? But is it really there's winning chances here? It's hard to say. I mean, I still like the knight on f4. It just feels like the bishop has to act fast. This bishop is equivalent to this one, but if you have an open line against like e4 pawn, then it becomes, there's something to play for. It's also that I have a lead on the clock, so when you're dealing with winning chances, creating winning chances, you do have to like use what you have, right? So if I'm trying to win, I need to be up on the clock, considering that I'm doing a lot of explanation, right? So that's also something that you have to take into consideration as well. And also, you do have to find some winning ideas, not just like a way to like sit down and, you need to find a way to keep going. So here I could play this. Rook takes b5 is idea. So he cannot play rook b8. That's one of the drawbacks because rook takes e6. He could still play b4 though, which seems to be a little bit of complications. Maybe c4 he takes. May have to take the bishop in some line. But it gets wicked. Not easy to play though, both sides. But b4 is like a way to complicate the game. You cannot take here because of obviously this rook c1 is hanging, and not winning chances is losing chances after that. So he plays queen b6. He's defending. I could still play b4, but this would be like the pawn would be like really weak. But this knight takes d5. If I play queen e3, is bishop f8. So the bishop could actually go here in some lines. I can still play here, rook takes c3. b3 is going to be a problem. Maybe it's just b4, but b4 may allow bishop f8. Maybe here. So if he plays here, I could play c4. So I'm looking at the bishop gets activated in this diagonal as opposed to this one. It's already being blocked on g2. e4, he could always play f5 at some point, and then this is not really like a concern. So actually this bishop may be more beneficial here. Like, for example, I'm hitting on b5. Like bishop takes b5 right now, because if he takes, the rook on e8 is hanging. So that's one of the key ideas. Now, he could say, well, this is playable. You cannot take again because of this way. The rook is hanging on c1. But the real argument here is maybe some kind of like maybe take or even c4 that could actually happen. But the winning chances, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe the clock would help, but we'll see. He has only 3 minutes left, and it's not an easy position to play such a low. I mean, 10-0 is still pretty fast in general. So he plays here, which feels like a little bit passive. A little bit passive here. Yeah, I guess he's defending this, right? That's the point of the move. But it just feels like it's a little bit passive. Hmm. Maybe you have to play here. So if he plays here, I might take in some line. No, this is still takeable. Making waiting move. See what happens. b4. You may have to play this. Something like here, bishop d6 may be playable. So the bishop gets activated just like I played my bishop on f1. So this diagonal is not really beneficial for black unless he goes here and take the knight. I mean, that's also like an idea. He could trade this bishop for this knight, considering that, you know, this knight is pretty strong on f4. This is like an end game, so there's no like an attack where the weaknesses will be like concerning here. I don't have a dark square bishop, so... He plays bishop f6. Okay, he's like waiting as well, which is making waiting moves. Maybe here in b4, but feels like I'm not winning anything. Actually, here, maybe this plays here. Probably another waiting move to see what happens. He's also making waiting moves. It's a waiting move to see what if he's really going for b4. I don't know if king g7 is a good idea because there's a check in between. It might be critical in some lines. as opposed to my king, like g2. Maybe he's not as critical, but for him it might be because there's a check here. I don't know if it matters, but it's a small detail, but may not matter. I mean, he might do b4 after all, but I have to eventually like find a way so he could burn time on his clock. So this is like a strategy that I'm doing that maybe at some point I break, right? And it would lead to him. He played b4, so eventually this happens. So now the real thing is c4. I mean, I cannot really take, right? So the real move order is now check. Here is c4. It's probably c4. So c4 here. So this gives me some practical chances here to play for, considering the clock. So if I were to take, he takes, and this is like a pass pawn, b3, and I have to take this way. It's a check, so he doesn't have like here in between moves, right? Because the queen will be attacked. So this is check. He had to react as a check first, which I felt like king g7 is not like a good waiting move. So we take that way. It's opposite call bishops, maybe still draw somehow, but who's talking about draws here? So it takes this way. So you don't want to take with a pawn, even though taking with the pawn could have been. I mean, this is still like not 100% like bad, but you allow a pass pawn. So supposedly bishop here. He wants to play queen g4, but e6 is under. E6 might be falling. You have to do a little bit of defense. He's really going for this, but I don't know if this works. We just do here first. Stop all the counterplay. But, let him burn some time in his clock as well. Maybe queen e6. Maybe rook c5 if I want to, like, stop. I mean, I could take on e6, but I feel like it does give him, like, a draw odds here. Which, here. And play here, see what happens. I mean, he could play, like, bishop e7. I know, but rook e5, bishop c4. He could play this. He knows this is actually not an easy plan here. So here, I could still take here, and it's still, like, draw. Maybe I could get active here. Rook c6, maybe. So if anything, white is active, you know, considering the clock situation. Maybe I could take now. I don't think he could hold this. He wants to play f5. But then that gives him weakness. So maybe queen e8, the king is. We play here, we're looking at this kind of stuff. I mean, the king is like really not in a good shape here. I could take on f7. And that's additional pawn. He's just resigned. He's also queen c8. Yeah, he's just resigned. So new record. 25-01 is actually the new record for me. The takeaway in this game is not much. Supposedly here, if we just open up the computer here, it's still possibly a draw. Yeah, the computer here basically giving me like it's kind of an equal position. But he has to be still like doing. Yeah, he played here and it's a mistake. So I felt like this is a big mistake because it allows queen e8. Right, the computer is basically saying queen e8 is also like, not at e7, it's queen e8. And I think this is a big problem here because obviously that would technically almost drop c4 because you don't want to play that. This actually made, right? This is actually made in like 2 moves. So queen e8 would have been a perfect move because the computer is giving me queen d7 and then you take. Now you're looking at 2 pawns. The reason this is probably winning and not draw anymore, there's a good explanation for that. Opposite call bishops lean to give the defender some a little bit like chances to draw, even if you're sometimes there are weird exception where you might be three pawns down and still draw, right? This one is a little bit different. You're looking at pass pawn at d4. There's an attack on the king. My king is far from any kind of attack. White has a way to maneuver. This is like almost +4. And the computer is giving me some random moves like queen e8. That's how bad it is, right? I mean, you don't want to play like queen d6 because this allows like some kind of attack eventually going to come across, let's say here. It's actually giving me this move, but I don't know why would I do this, because this is actually even this ending, it's up for debate because the pawns are like on light squares. I feel like maybe still drawing chances here, but maybe still like winning for white. So opposite color bishops is not always a draw. It just depends on the situation. But hey, we won the game, right? We won the game. And it's a good explanation, like how to, this game specifically might be a good learning experience, just like the rest of the videos. But however, this one maybe kind of explains how you could effectively win a game, right? Like I'm trying to win a game just to get the record, but the point is, how could I go for the winning chances, right? How could I create tension? Why would I do waiting moves? Why did I played for the clock, and I also played for the position, and I did not go for the opposite color bishops right away, so I kind of like slow down. Obviously, this game, if it's OTB game, things will be different. Black is likely to find a draw, right? But good game, learning experience, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video and enjoy the next ones. There should be next videos coming in and should be educational. It should be improvement for you guys, and stay tuned for the rest. Thank you, folks.